Hey y'all, it's Natalie for Cherry on Top today, and it's Technique Tuesday, and today we're focused on paints. So I'm going to show you really quick. I'm using the Vineyard collection from Photo Plate paper, and it's this really cute wine or vineyard themed collection. And I have a picture of me and my best friend on her birthday at a local winery or vineyard, and I am going to use powdered pigments as my paint. So first I'm going to apply, I have gesso, I put clear gesso on this white cardstock, and now I'm using my favorite matte texture paste from Ranger through this awesome stencil. I think this is a Vicky Bouton stencil. I did match up in the middle, kind of the circles, and it kind of messed up a little bit, but I didn't press down the stencil too hard, but that's okay because it's, you know, like a distressed look anyway. So I did let that dry for a nice long time. And I normally kind of do a triangle design facing down, but I'm actually going to do one from the top tonight. So the next step I'm going to do is to pull out 3 of the papers and do little strips of them. And I'm going to put them along the bottom. So I'm going to do this one that has the wine labels, and then I have another one that looks like a barrel, and then the one that has all the wine glasses and bottles. I'm going to rough up the edges really well. I'm going to use my little tiny attacher because the opposite side of this paper is like nice purpley cranberry, if you will, grape. And so I wanted a little bit of that to show. And I'm roughing up the edges really well to kind of add to the distressed nature of the page. But you have to put gesso on your paper if you're going to do this, because you'll see in a few minutes I'm going to use a ton of water, and the only way that my cardstock is going to sustain all of this water is because it is protected with a layer of gesso that doesn't allow the water to soak into the paper. So you can kind of see like what I'm going for there. I'll finish that up off the page, but that's kind of the look I'm going for. But I'm going to remove all of that to add the paints. So powdered pigments are a super fun mixed medium. So I have this Lindy's, I think it's called Autumn Maple, and you'll see I'm just tapping the tiniest bit. Do you see that that powder is just the tiniest bit? I'm going to activate it with just a little spritzer, and it's going to run in between all of the texture paste shapes that I went through this stencil. But all of that paint is from just a few sprinkles. I will add a few more. I had to go refill my water bottle. Now it looks like I've splattered wine all over the page, right? So a little goes a long way. I'm adding a couple more, but only because sometimes I like to leave the pigments a little isolated. And by that I mean I'm not going to use a paintbrush to really blend them in or spritz them too much, because I want the little pieces of the pigments to kind of just leave an impression. So this one is a FX Pearls, and it is the antique copper, and it's like the beautiful shimmery, shiny, glittery brown color. So I thought that looked like chocolate, or it looked like a barrel, but I'm gonna run that a little bit with my paintbrush, because I don't, like I said, I wanted some of the pigments that I added at the end to kind of stay isolated, and so I don't want to run them through all the tracks of the stenciling. So I'm just going to use a paintbrush to move this bit around, and plus I don't want all the brown to cover up the red. So I really like to do this technique sometimes with watercolors, but if you are one who likes really bold color, pigment powders are perfect for this, because watercolors will get watered down and become way more pastel when they dry. But you'll see here in a minute, that's dry, and it did not become any less of a brilliant color. I wanted to add in just a little bit of purple, so I'm mixing a little bit of powdered Nouveau Shimmer powder with some Distress Oxide, and then I'm actually going to go in a little bit and add a little bit of black watercolor, because I wanted it to be more of an eggplant color. It didn't turn out perfect, to be honest with you, but I'm just using it to add splatters. Wait until your page is completely dry to add the splatters, because if it's not completely dry, then they will just kind of blend into the wet spots. So now I'm going to use that same antique copper powder as well to create a little bit of watercolor to add additional brown splatters around the page. And I like how that finished out like my little triangle. So I'm really happy with how that looks, and I've rotated my paper again so that the triangle is on the top, and then it's gonna kind of go down into the pattern paper. So that's all of the mixed media with the paint techniques. Please let me know if you have any questions down below. I will say you have to be a little bit careful because a little goes a long way, and so if you sprinkle them on your whatever surface you're working on, you need to clean that up really well because it will kind of get on things. I got a little bit around my fingernail, and then I went downstairs and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm bleeding. No, I wasn't bleeding. It was just red pigment powder. You see my dirty little secret. I have all of the little puffy alphas I've collected from Paint Fresh Studios. Those things are so great though. I love a good long title, and I like to add words to already existing die cuts or stickers, and so those types of puffy alphas are just so perfect for that. I have like a stash that I hoard, and I buy them every single time I come out. So I'm using some foam, some cherry tape foam to pop up my photo, and I'm going to stick it down here on the left, kind of like a little crooked. And I think I'm going to use those puffy alphas in my title. It's going to say, well, aren't we well aged? You know, like wine. We were there for my Betsy's birthday, and you can see in front of us is the charcuterie board that I put together for her party, and it was delicious. And by the way, this is in Arrington. So sorry, I forgot to film. I thought I was filming, but I wasn't filming. I'm sticking down the stickers, but basically I just stuck down the stickers. Some of them I used my powder tool that you would use for embossing to take away the sticky so that it could pop them up on the foam tape as well. And so the sticky comes from the foam tape and additional adhesive rather than the actual sticker because I wanted them to pop up. And now I'm just adding a few sequins around all of the stickers. I just added some cheese and wine and a barrel and a banner because it was a birthday. And lastly, I wanted this to stick out, but I couldn't go around it with my pen because of all the texture paste. So I'm just adding a little bit of this Prima wax. And first of all, I love the way this stuff smells. It smells so good. And it actually like brightened it up, and I'm just getting it out of the cracks there, but it brightened it up really well. You can see in the final pictures, I do get it out of the cracks of that texture paste, but that's just a good way if you want to make your little office stand off the page a little bit, but aren't able to like trace around them with a pen. It's another way you can use to help them stand out. I hope that you're inspired to paint and use texture paste. I love pigmented powders. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye y'all.